Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As ladies and gentlemen, today is going to explain a lot of things and a lot of reasons why you need to maintain your strength in holding XRP past these next couple months. Because I promise you, after everything we've ever been through, after getting through the SEC, there is an exact 0% likelihood that we're going to fail in rising from these levels. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest critique about XRP throughout the years is that the SEC could find it to be a security, and that is over with. The fact that XRP is still here at 50 cents is a miracle to the retail investor. And if you're not taking advantage of it, if you don't know what the future holds, this video is going to remind you. Here, Nick the Crypto Crusader stated Ripple is working with the BIS. Ripple is working with ISDA. Ripple has been spotlighted by the IMF. Ripple has been spotlighted by the World Bank. Ripple has been meeting with central bankers for years. And while they build these strong connections, they're also exposing XRP to all these huge organizations and central banks. They are exposing XRP to these huge organizations and central banks. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you guys all undervalue how important networking is. Sometimes I think there's a self-righteous part of the XRP army that states if it has not been pinpointed in this paperwork right here, right now, in this little footnote, it is not true and speculation is bad. Someone like me, I know what goes on in these rooms when these people meet. They're not over here having tea and crumpets. They're over here figuring out what's going to take over the $1 trillion of value. And ladies and gentlemen, trust me when I say Ripple is going to be essential and helping the elites move their trillions of dollars in value. There's about to be a massive paradigm shift in the way we move money. There's going to be a financial crisis, like I've told all of you, within the next week to possibly couple weeks. We are here when this big financial event is supposed to happen. And what Ripple and XRP are here to do is to help the elite move their money fast. They're going to expose the friction. Then problem reaction solution is going to be in full effect. And then we could see XRP become a de facto world reserve currency due to how good it works at what it was meant for. And remember what David Schwartz said just a couple weeks ago. He could see a world where two reserve currencies exist at the exact same time. And why would the banks want it? Because the biggest banks on the planet are their biggest competitors, and this will even out and level the global financial playing field.
Do you believe that there can be two existing world reserve currencies to simultaneously exist?
I do, and I think that could happen. I think it's quite realistic that a lot of the world is just done with the dollar as the reserve currency. And I think that there's a lot of places that are willing to try something else. And one of my scenarios, and I don't think it's going to play out quickly, but like one of my wild case success scenarios for a digital asset is if countries start to realize that the US dollar is not going to be the reserve currency forever. Other things are going to be the reserve currency. And the same thing that we saw with banks. Like people, when we started selling software to banks, people would say to me, why would a bank use something that like you guys were selling them when they could use something that was like made by banks? And what they didn't realize is that, only like 10 banks in the country, on the planet, are Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan Chase, like the ones who would build a system that the entire planet would run on. For the rest of the banks, that's 6,000 smaller banks, those are their biggest, strongest competitors. Those are the entities they hate the most. They would not want to use the system built and maintained by them because it's going to be biased in favor of them, their biggest and strongest competitors.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's about. The biggest banks in the planet have been bullies to all the other small and medium-sized banks on the planet. Now, the many have outnumbered the powerful few and are beginning to utilize and break down the monopoly on the banking system. The banking system is becoming more and more decentralized, and that is what people don't understand. That is the reason Ripple probably got sued. But that is why XRP is so important. Ripple has built out a CBDC platform that 5 countries, publicly at least, are using. 5 live CBDC projects for 5 different nations on the planet have been built and are being tested in real time, all at the same time that it has been admitted by Ripple that they are working with 30 other central banks around the world. That is 15% of all central banks on the planet in Ripple's pockets, and they are decentralizing nations away from the US dollar monopoly. We have taken advantage of our privilege of having the world reserve currency for too long. Being in Ukraine has woken up a lot of countries. Our sanctions have been too much for some nations, and they're scared. BRICS added 6 new members, and you think that's an accident? Absolutely not. They're decentralizing away from the dollar, and they're going to use Ripple. They're going to use XRP as a tool to move away. And you don't have to listen to me say it. David Schwartz is letting you know exactly what's happening.
And I think the same thing could happen to nations. Like every nation would love for their currency to be the world reserve currency. That's helped the US, that's grown the US economy, quote unquote, unfairly by leaps and bounds for decades. And every other country would be like, yeah, we'd like to have the world be the world's reserve currency. But the only countries that could possibly pull it off is the US holding its position, maybe the EU, maybe Russia, maybe 1 or 2 others. But realistically, most countries know that if there's going to be a new world reserve currency that's a country's currency, it's not going to be them. And so they might actually prefer a currency that nobody can control to one that's controlled by their largest geopolitical rivals. And so that's like what I think is the biggest possible success scenario for digital assets. If these countries are like, okay, well, the US dollar can't hold on forever, but it's not going to be our currency because no one's going to want to repeat the US dollar scenario. Nobody but the EU wants the EU to replace the dollar, right? Nobody but Russia wants the ruble to replace the dollar. Nobody but China wants the yuan to replace the dollar. So maybe they could settle on a currency that nobody could control rather than one controlled by their most powerful geopolitical rival. So if you want a success scenario, that's the one that I think is the most likely.
But the money question is, how do you get everybody to agree?
Well, I mean, they might agree if the alternative is that their geopolitical rivals force some new replacement for the dollar that's not, if they just replace, the old boss with a new boss. If the choice is no boss, if that happens to make a bunch of cryptocurrency people rich, I don't think they're going to see that as too much of a minus.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the biggest moments in XRP community history. David Schwartz letting all of you know that if a couple people get rich from crypto in exchange to decentralize away from the current SWIFT system, it's not too much of a minus. And I showed in my video yesterday how in reality there are not too many people who hold and invest in XRP. There are not that many XRP holders. Only a few of us will really get rich. I do think the XRP army is heading into the new 1% every single day. And David Schwartz lets you know it's not high on the elite's priority list to prevent you from making money. I'm sure plenty of you have heard the saying before, life-changing opportunity, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, have seen, heard about it, but have been disappointed. I believe Ripple and XRP is that opportunity that won't disappoint. And despite the fact that we have waited for so long, it's the very fact that we have waited for so long that makes me even more confident that we really are on to the correct answer. Just like all the small and medium-sized banks don't want the big banks to bully them around and continue to have a monopoly on the banking system. The rest of the planet, other nations, are tired of having their currency devalued. They're tired of having their currency compared to the dollar. They're tired of propping up America. And slowly but surely, nations around the world are getting rid of U.S. treasuries. The pivot away from the U.S. dollar is happening, whether you're aware of it or not. And I think XRP will be the biggest beneficiary of this new transition. Don't believe me, it's still true. But I have yet another powerful quote from Ripple talking on ISO 20022 that has been live for about 6 months now. And again, they keep pointing us towards that November time frame. Ladies and gentlemen, right now is crisis time. I expect a big event within the next few weeks. And November could be the time where we finally begin to see the uptrend in XRP and the adoption of all this technology we've all expected.
So ISO 20022 is a global standard for financial information exchange. This enables interoperability between different systems, straight through processing of payments, and rich data transfer. And it'll also foster competition because it's open and flexible. At Ripple, we've been aligned with ISO 20022 from day one. We've always recognized that this is the direction of payments and it'll be better for everyone. And we were really a first mover on that front. We've also joined the standard body to help contribute to how payments will shape in the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you look at that? ISO 20022, the new standard in messaging that banks are forced to move over to. Ripple is aligned with. Ripple is playing a role in. And Ripple joined their body. I don't think all of you understand how much we've been uncovering over the last couple weeks about the possibility of this November, things really ramping up for XRP as a digital asset. But bare minimum for the major shifts in the financial system. We are at the point of no return. And I don't think you guys understand the importance of the video I played of David Schwartz just a few moments ago. Burning Stars on Twitter posted, not only did David Schwartz suggest it's very possible for XRP to become a world currency, but he clearly said that if it happens, it would make some people extremely rich. David Schwartz, when he was talking about the possibility of a digital asset coming into play, in my mind, I thought about XRP. Most definitely. He's basically describing a case where XRP would be higher than it is today. Logically, much higher than it is today. And it's actually very unlikely that most XRP holders would be millionaires at less than $10. Especially if you take the XRP rich list that I posted in my previous video into consideration. Many won't see their first millions before $50 to $100. Now you can argue how realistic this scenario is, but we know there's much more going on behind the scenes than just this scenario. Something that I hate using on my channel is the word guarantee. However, the future price of XRP going up in value is one of the closest things to a guarantee I feel in my soul, my friends. I don't think XRP could possibly not go higher. And for many of us as well, there's not a single doubt that that is going to happen. This is a reminder for all the people who fall for the constant FUD by individuals trying to discourage others. The nothing will happen people, the comment section trolls, the Debbie Downers, people who are secretly accumulating while doing the same thing. You need to understand that not everybody has your best interest at heart and they want you to miss the boat. Wealth puts people's status on a different level. They enjoy dominating people and expose their lifestyle for everyone to see, to create envy. They can't do that if everyone rises. There are plenty of people that want to see you fail. But here on this channel, every single day, I'm trying to empower you by saying you will become the new 1%. Listen to all the quotes being stated by some of the smartest and well-connected people on the planet. We are not wrong. We're 100% right to still be here. And nothing is holding us back. And if you're here to join us on this journey into becoming the new 1% and future XRP millionaires, please like, please subscribe. Because like Jungling says, the revolution will be televised. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.